How's it? Morning, everyone. I'm doing lives now because I'm seeing that I catch quite a bit more traction with the lives than I do just with normal videos. So I hit the live and then I post it as a video. Have you guys checked this whole hullabaloo with the Grammys, eh? And Trevor Noah? Let me tell you something. You know, there was a point when he started out, or when I first got to hear of him, when he was doing videos or shows, and he was talking about Zuma and the daywalkers. And well, I found this guy absolutely hysterically funny, you know. And I thought, wow, man, quite like this gent. And then he went to America, and he got completely confused and radicalized by, Trevor, I'm sorry to have to say this to you, your white bosses. What? You know, and this is something that these guys just seem to forget. You know, the first thing that Trevor Noah forgets is you're half white. What? You know, I know you like to claim the black because that's now, you know, apparently the right color to be. But, you know, you're half white, but your dad's white, brother. And then you went over to America and you went on a show, The Daily Show, that is run by whites, but. And those whites paid your salary, okay, to push all the cuck that you used to talk on that show. I mean, the amount of absolute rubbish you used to talk on that show completely put me off you, you know, because you became an absolute and utter and total racist, but. And, you know, reading the script of what the liberal woke mind virus were telling you to do in favor of making lots and lots and piles and piles and pots of cash. You sold yourself out for money, bud. And that's where I think a lot of us, you know, we were proud of you as South Africans to have made it that big. But I think a lot of us then stepped back and went, nah, you know what, this guy, cash is king. But here's it, bro. This is where you really showed me that you're not as clever as I personally thought you were. I thought you were pretty smart. You know, I thought your comedy was pretty smart at one point. I thought you were a smart guy. I really did. Because your comedy, you know, had a punch. And it was funny. It was funny, you know. No matter who you spoke about it, I found it very, very funny. Whether you spoke about Zuma, the DA, whites, blacks, coloreds, Indians, it was funny comedy. Until America, something happened to you in America. And, you know, it's actually quite sad to see. Then, all right, what really has made me understand that you're not clever at all. You're just a parrot. You're a parrot. And this scenario at the Grammys where you've now been taken on by Donald Trump, okay, it just shows what kind of a parrot you really are. So listen to this. This is you now, but this is what you think is an intelligent move, all right? And maybe you'll get this video and you'll listen to what I'm saying, and in hindsight you think, no. Maybe this Bailey from Joburg has got... you know, got a point here. You are working in America. The vast majority of your audience are Americans. Average working Americans. Not the people that you were playing to at the Grammy Awards. Those are the minority of Americans. Those are, and a dying minority, by the way. You know, less and less people are putting stock in actors. I mean, me, I'm a movie fan. For me now, I go onto iTunes, I go onto Netflix, I go onto all these platforms to try to find a decent movie, Disney Channel, whatever it is. And you just simply can't find good movies because the acting and the actors are absolutely cuck. There's no De Niro's. You know, De Niro has his own political views, which I also find ridiculous. He's also gone crazy. But, you know, my man, when that actor's in a movie, you are riveted to the movie. Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, and we can go further back. Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson. Actors, but you know, when those actors were in a movie, you made sure you watched that movie. Now you go into movies, and I don't even know the names of the actors because they're so flippant cuck that I don't even watch the movies. There's no movies with substance. There's no movies that pull on your heart. There's no movies that you completely get involved in anymore. It's just this mass-produced trash that's coming out of Hollywood, right? And Hollywood is dying, and it's dying a slow, miserable death. We're not interested in Hollywood anymore. As for music, which is the Grammys, a couple of nights ago, you know, I watched some music from my generation. Metallica, Pink Floyd, Dire Straits, Led Zeppelin. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Sinead O'Connor, Roger Waters. What's that guy, that rock singer? Brilliant artists, bud. And then I look and I listen to the music that you guys are claiming is music today. 90% of it made with AI. What isn't made with AI is made with this, these singing apps that allow even an idiot like me who's got no voice to pull out a hit song. There's no art, there's no talent, there's no music. You know, I never thought I'd see the day that electronic music would be far more inspirational than actual artists. You know, we all used to listen to electronic dance music and go to the clubs and have it all, but you know, when we really want to get emotional, we listen to proper artists. They're gone. They don't exist anymore. Now, these people have got millions and millions of people still buying their trash, and it's absolute trash. The music today is absolute and utter trash. Doof, doof, doof. And that's what they call music, right? So you're in this crowd with these idiots who are all patting each other on the back for their cuck music, all right? While in America, on an American TV show, with millions of Americans watching, all right? And then you decide that it's a good idea, all right? Because the liberal democratic team's ex-presidents and presidents have all been fingered in this Jeffrey Epstein story, right? Where they now have to go give evidence in front of Congress about it, the Clintons specifically, who've done nothing but lie and cheat and steal, all right? And then you think it's a clever move, knowing right now what is going on between America and South Africa, what is going on with America and Israel in the Middle East, knowing what is going on between South Africa and Israel right now, expelling each other's diplomats and all of that, you think, I've got a brilliant idea. I'm going to make all these fools, these talentless fools who pay my salary happy, and I'm going to call the President of America a child molester. Because that's what you effectively did. You effectively said that Donald Trump wants to acquire Greenland so that him and Bill Clinton can go to Greenland because Jeffrey Epstein's island is closed, and they can continue doing what they did at Epstein's island, apparently, all right? You've effectively called the president, the sitting president of the United States, the country where you work, where you are not a citizen, a child molester on international TV. Truly, I say unto thee, the mark of low IQ, but in favor of some ratings and a bit of cash. Because I can tell you, in my mind, what is coming for you. The same that is coming for every other person that is on some kind of work visa, what in America, that does this. Bye-bye visa, persona non grata, never will you go back there again. That's what I can see is coming. And there goes your cash guy, because if you can't work in America, you can't be on American TV. And let me tell you, you want to hear the good part, you want to hear the good news. Not one of those people that was sitting in that crowd are going to offer you a thing. Not a thing, but. Because let me tell you what you are in their minds, okay? You know, back in the day, explorers used to come to Africa and capture people, and then take them to European cities in cages and put them on display as attractions, like a sideshow at a circus. Say, look what we caught in Africa. That is exactly what they've done to you, just without the cage. You are the little organ grinder there, you know? You know that little animal that he used to have there, that used to run around with a hat and get the money and, you know, hit the cymbals. That's what you are to those people, bud. You're just a sideshow, a little sideshow. And they've set you up. And you've gone up there and taken the bait in favor of your integrity, your morals, your South Africanism. You've made a fool of yourself. And you've put South Africa in an even worse light than it already is, in your lust and hunger for fame and cash. So I can tell you now, for one, as a South African, me personally, and I don't know how many other South Africans feel this way, don't even bother doing shows here, but because I, for one, am certainly not going to buy a ticket. I'm certainly not going to watch any of your stuff on Netflix. I'm certainly not going to do any of that, because you, sir, have made an absolute fool out of yourself, and you've made an absolute fool out of us as South Africans by doing what you did at those Grammy Awards. Then, the good news is, what's that person's name? Billie Eilish. First time I've ever heard of this individual. This is the good news for all of us, colonizers, as we like to be called by other people, right? Have you heard the good news? Eh? No one is illegal on stolen land. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? So if no one is illegal on stolen land, and that is now the tagline, we're all in the clear, brother, because even if the land is stolen, we can't be here illegally, because no one is illegal on stolen land. This is how flippin' dof they are, bro. This is how dof they are. So thank you for that. And I hope Julius Malema watches the Grammys and starts to understand that no one is illegal on stolen land. You know? Isn't that great? Then on that note, apparently what I've heard also now is the whites must pay for everyone's electricity and water. Like that's not already happening. Everyone's up in arms. Oh, we are now going to have to pay for Julius is saying this and this. Guys, you've been doing it for years, decades in fact. So what he's actually saying is just carry on doing what you've been doing all along. And, you know, I'm just ad-libbing for him. And we appreciate your efforts for securing us electricity and water for the last 300 years. And sharp, so don't get upset. You're already doing it, and you have been doing it for years. The key now is to get the rich black guys to start doing the same. That's what needs to happen. We've already been doing that for centuries. Even right through this whole new South Africa, what. That's what we've been doing. We've been paying for other people's electricity and water non-stop. Now the key is this, is to get the rest of the rich, the newly rich, the newly privileged, the newly elite, the newly, in other words, the last 30 years, these guys that have come up and gotten super wealthy through BEE and affirmative action and equity and inclusion and those oaks. The key is now to get those oaks to start doing what we've already been doing forever. All right, so don't get your panties in a wad, as the Americans say. Nothing new. And in the same breath, he says, yeah, we must all, you know, they must start now coming to try and get our vote. Well, good luck with that, bro. You're definitely going to catch a few fools. But, you know, after you've been screaming for my extermination and slaughter for the last flip and well, ever since I know you, and your entire mindset has been to come and take everything I've worked for, when the people that you're telling to take it refuse to work. All right, and those that don't refuse to work, those that can't work because your rhetoric and your policies, along with your ANC Chinas, have taken away all the jobs in this country. You've been telling them to come and take from us, who have made a plan. All right, now all of a sudden you must come and ask us to please put our cross next to your name at a voting station or someone from your party. And I'm going to tell you this right now: you can fit here right now, my brother. That's not going to happen. The same as the Hollywood elite, the same as the liberal mind virus, the same as all this stuff. The EFF has got a terminal sickness and is busy slowly perishing and withering into where it belongs. And now you want us to try and support you to continue attacking us. You can footsack. All right, have a lekker day, guys. That's my 5 cents. Chat later. Cheers.